The Trail of Tears is one of the most painful chapters in American history, but it is also a story of incredible resilience. It's a tale that has been passed down through generations, not only by those who survived, but by those who were deeply affected by the cruelty they endured. It is a story that speaks to the strength of the human spirit, the unbreakable will to survive, and the power of community. It all began in the early 1800s, when the United States government decided that it needed more land. Land that belonged to Native American tribes. The Cherokee, Choctaw, Creek, Chickasaw, and Seminole people had lived on this land for centuries. It was their home, their heritage, their birthright. But in 1830, the Indian Removal Act was passed, allowing the government to forcefully relocate these tribes to what was known as Indian Territory, which is now Oklahoma. For the Cherokee, the decision to leave their homeland was not made easily. They had long been a settled people, cultivating the land and building communities. Many had adopted farming techniques, created their own written language, and even established a constitution. They were a proud and strong nation, yet the government refused to recognize their sovereignty. They were forced to surrender their land, and the terms were cruel: move west or face the consequences. In 1838, thousands of Cherokee were rounded up from their homes in Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Alabama. They were told to leave everything behind: homes, farms, everything they had worked for. They were gathered into camps, separated from their families, and told to prepare for a journey that no one could have imagined. The journey was going to be long, over 1,000 miles through difficult, uncharted territory. But no one knew just how brutal it would be. The Cherokee began their march, which would become known as the Trail of Tears, in the fall of 1838. The conditions were grueling. Many were forced to walk barefoot, through rough terrain and in harsh weather. Disease spread quickly through the camps, and hunger was a constant companion. The elderly, the sick, and the very young were especially vulnerable, and many did not survive the journey. It is said that over 4,000 Cherokee people died from illness, malnutrition, or exposure along the way. But amid the pain, there were stories of perseverance. Despite the endless hardships, the Cherokee kept moving forward. They walked together, with only their community to rely on. They helped one another, shared what little they had, and found strength in their unity. It was not just a physical journey, but an emotional and spiritual one. They walked through grief, through loss, through unimaginable suffering, and yet they did not give up. They did not stop. When they finally arrived in Indian Territory, the suffering did not end. The land was unfamiliar, and the government had not prepared for their arrival. The Cherokee had to start over, rebuilding their homes, farms, and lives. It was a struggle, but over time, they began to recover. They established schools, churches, and a government. Their culture, though scarred by the journey, began to flourish once again. The Cherokee people's ability to rebuild, to thrive despite the pain, is a testament to their strength. They faced devastation that would have broken most people, yet they endured. They refused to be destroyed. And in their resilience, there is a lesson for all of us. The Trail of Tears is not just a story of suffering. It's a story of survival. It's a story of how, even when faced with overwhelming odds, we can find the strength to keep moving forward. Life will throw challenges at us, some bigger than others, but like the Cherokee, we have the power to endure. The pain we feel today does not define us. The strength we discover in our darkest hours does. So, when life seems difficult, when it feels like you're facing a road that's too hard to walk, remember the Cherokee. Remember their courage, their perseverance, their refusal to give up. They walked through their tears, but they also walked with dignity, with hope for the future. And so can you. No matter what the world throws your way, you have the strength to keep moving forward, to rise above, and to thrive.